Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, I'm going to show you two amazing puzzles that have to do with patterns with the queen. So the queen, obviously, as you probably know, is the most valuable piece aside from the king, and she has a lot of power. So this video is going to show you two particular ways where you can maximize her power and patterns that you should know if you're looking to be a great chess player. Okay, this first puzzle is a checkmate in 2, which means I make a move, black makes a move, I make a move, it's checkmate, right? So let's see if you can figure it out. If you want to take a second, feel free to pause the video. It's not that hard to figure out, but I think the pattern behind it is the more important thing. Okay, before we look at the solution, let me quickly just mention thank you to those who have subscribed, and I would encourage you, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Half of the income that I earn in this channel goes directly to charity, so a free subscription to you helps me out a lot. Okay, so the first move in this position is actually to retreat your knight and move to d2. Now, why is this? So I want to just quickly stop right here and say, look at the knight. The knight's controlling c4, b3. What is the queen controlling? c5, b5, a5, a2, and of course the rest of these squares. So there's a little bit of a complement between these two, and you'll see what I mean in just a moment. So right now, white just made this move, knight d2. Black has two options. They can play king a3, or they can play king b4. If they played king b4, and this is the aesthetics of this position, I want you to see the checkmate in 1. Look at the power of the queen and the knight on this same little box here. Right now, if the queen jumps to this corner, that's checkmate. Why? Because the knight is controlling these two, but the queen is controlling everything else. Look at that. Maybe we can use a different color. Isn't that crazy? So you have to know this pattern of if there's a box like this, and you have a queen on one corner and a knight in the other corner, you can control this whole area. Isn't that crazy? The whole area of where the king would be on this top left corner. That's a puzzle you need to know. That's a pattern you need to know, especially in bullet. Okay, and of course I should say, if they go king a3, a pattern that you better know if you play chess, bring the queen right next to the king. As long as it's supported, that is checkmate. That's one pattern that I think you really should know if you want to be a great chess player. Let's move on to the second pattern. Okay, we have this same idea, checkmate in 2 problem. These pawns are going down the board. They are threatening to promote. Right now it's white to move. Take a second, see if you want to figure this one out as well. Let me know if you think it's easier or harder than the first one. Depending on your level, depending on what patterns you see faster, it might be something you've already seen before. But take a moment, see if you can figure it out. Okay, so in this position, you might be tempted to always, check. If you check in any of these places, it's not going to be a good result. The worst move on the board is to play queen f1 because remember, the pawns are going down the board, so they can actually capture you, and you would lose. So if you do any of these, they just promote, and this will be a draw. You want to make a move like this, they just block you, and you can repeat if you want. But that's not the goal. You don't want to draw. You want to win. So you might say, okay, what can I do to prevent this pawn from pushing forward? Can I move the king at all? No. So it has to be a queen move. Well, here's the thing, and this is the pattern you have to know. The queen, especially with far advanced pawns, can be an amazing defender in terms of pinning the pawn. What do I mean by that? Well, let's just say I went queen here. That pins this pawn, right? Means that the only move, they can't do this. The only move in the position would be king g1 because you can't move this pawn because that'd be in check. Now, of course, queen f3 is not the winning move, but it's the idea. Now, why isn't it the winning move? Well, after king g1, I have no good move for white. Now they're threatening this one, and I have to do something to go back to check, so I probably just give check again, and they just come out a little bit, and now I'm very scared. Both pawns are going to promote, so I have to just give check. It's going to be perpetual check. It's going to be a draw. That's not the thing you need to know. Here's what you need to know. When you have this pattern here and these pawns about to promote, you want to give some type of distance between you and the king. This move right here is the winning move. Queen e4. Now what's the difference between e4 and f3? They accomplish the same goal of pinning the pawn. Yes, that's correct, they do. But here's the critical difference. When the king moves to g1, only one of these places, allows you to give a winning, decisive checkmate. Boom. Queen e1 is mate. So the pattern you have to know is to pin the pawn, force the king out, and once the king is out, boom, you have a checkmate. Any other move in that position will fail. If you want to go approach, this move does not work because, like I mentioned, they take you, either the king or the queen. Of course, the queen is the winning move, and you're going to lose. So, both of these puzzles have a lot of applicability to endgames. If you're in an endgame and you're in a dogfight where you have a queen and you have some pawns, look at the patterns and see if you can figure it out. I think this first one with the knight, I think that might be easier in a bullet game because you're going to win this game. But seeing the pattern of having this coverage, there is some beautiful aesthetic to that. Hopefully you see that as well. I think it's a valuable tool. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know. Leave some feedback. Be sure to subscribe. All that stuff helps me and supports the channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye.